this is going to be my review for the movie Steve Jobs. Um, you know, I was very fascinated by this movie, Steve Jobs. I think it was mainly, establishing this life of a troubled man, but yet became so successful. And just watching it, you realize he's not Steve Jobs is not this rootable hero. He's many ways a villain of his own story, but he grows. And I think he goes from this just maniacal villain because he really is. Yes, he's smart. Yes, he's a genius. But you see how he treats his daughter. You see how he treats his, ex girlfriend. You see how he treats his assistant. You see how he treats his, partners. Not even acknowledging the Apple II program. And it's like you see these little details of him not being this nice person at all. But they show why. They show how he was adopted, how he never really had a family. And I think it begs the question, like, sometimes people are mean because they didn't have the greatest foundation growing up. And you see how how he grows with Lisa, and how figures out that Lisa, little things that happen in the beginning play great dividends at the end, like how he denied that she was his daughter, that she was his daughter, that he denied that Lisa was that the Lisa machine was or program was named after his daughter. And I think it's these little stuff that come in by the end, and it's really at the heart of it about this struggling businessman balancing his business and his family, and his almost responsibility to care for his daughter, and even to that extent his ex-wife, who again it's this idea of like growing and changing throughout this film that is so special, because this film is not about Steve Jobs the businessman. It's not about Steve Jobs building Apple. We start this film right at the crux of it. Like, he's already famous. He's already, a millionaire. He's now, it's mainly about him, launching the Mac. And it's showing these distinct moments in life, distinct moments in his life where his whole career changes, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. And like, they show three or four distinct moments where his whole career changes, and the kind of quirkiness, and it's very funny too. Like, I'm just watching this movie and I'm laughing with it. It's entertaining as heck. Um, this movie also has a great cast from start to finish. You just go down the list and rows of actors, and not even actors like you'd expect to give a dramatic performance. Because you have the guy from Dumb and Dumber in this movie. And you're like, that's like the last person you expect to give a dramatic performance. You got Seth Rogen. Like, you don't think he's gonna give a dramatic performance, and then you see, even I just it's crazy. It's crazy. I really thought this was special, and I think Aaron Sorkin's writing with this, and the directing is great by the guy who directed Slumdog Millionaire. The directing's great. It's just some great, because I think the directing in this movie really spices up it. It really elevates it, as well as I'd be remiss not to mention Michael Fassbender's amazing performance. Like, watching X-Men and stuff like that, you see his British accent is somewhat Irish and Scottish or whatever, European, but this is kind of like a different. It's almost this accent and this performance you can barely quantify, because it's like not really. It doesn't seem to be all American, but it also doesn't seem to be fully anything else. It's his own Steve Jobs-ism accent. And I don't know how true this movie is. I don't know. I didn't really research it. I did research if he had a daughter named Lisa. I don't know. I was just curious. And he did. And he did. And I was curious when she was born, just to know, like, if the timeline matches up. And it does. She was born in 1978. So by 1976, or not, well, the first start 1984, which she would be she would be 6, so 5, 6, yeah, about matches up. And then 19, and so they said she was 9 in 96, which is not necessarily. She was more closer to 8. Maybe they did say 8. I don't know, but yeah, it all relatively lined up. Yeah, I really thought it was interesting. I think with Aaron Sorkin's writing, he just has these little things that come back, where it's like, take for example at the beginning of the movie, um, um, Steve Jobs wants a pocket for his collared shirt. So what does he do? He asks his assistant to get him a collared shirt with with a pocket on the side, And instead of just throwing that away and just magically cutting to a scene where he did have a new collared shirt, they make that important. They make that relevant by showing another scene where he gets the jacket and saying who it was from, an engineer. It's these little details that make it realistic, because it's these little details that make films realistic. Because you can have a great story, but if it's not believable based on what's going on around you, that doesn't make sense, then it can take you out of the movie. But here, you believe all this stuff, and so yeah, I really really like this movie. Anyways, stay tuned for videos coming right at you.